All right, there we go. So today is the 13th of February, and we are discussing our research topics. One of your classmates has just asked if we can go beyond the scholarly literature in order to narrow our topic to get to really targeted literature. And the answer is yes, especially if it's in material that has a bibliography. That could be a really rich source. So this is basically what we're doing is the form of a research paper, and it definitely involves research. But what I'm really wanting you to get at is that risk analysis piece. So if you go to trade journals or popular press journals that are, well written and documented, that's terrific. It's a really good source. So thanks for that question. So what other questions do you guys have for me? You guys are great. You're going to make this way too easy on me. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and just talk about a couple of things that are going to happen over the next 2 weeks. And the reason that we're talking about 2 weeks, I'll get to in just a moment. But here we are at February 13th today and through February 19th. So your annotated bibliography is due on Sunday, February 19th. So we don't really have a writing assignment this week. What I really want to get at, what we're working toward in week 6, is working on the next section of the paper, which is the methods section. And the methods section was described to me at one point as it's the bucket where you say what you're going to do. So you don't talk specifically about what you did or anything about the results of what happened with what you did, but you're saying, this is the way I'm going to frame my study. So I've done, I put up a bunch of readings here. There's like 4 readings, none of which are very long. This third reading assignment is actually from the Cengage book that you should have access to. Please do not buy that. If you don't have access to Cengage, please don't buy it. Send me an email and I'll make sure that you get these 6 pages, because don't pay $150 for 6 pages of literature. We can figure that one out. But there are 4 reading assignments, and they're focused. The first one, talking about the quality of risk analysis, is from a really seminal text, which is the Risk Analysis Quantitative Guide by Vose. And it really talks about how you can do good risk analysis and how you can do bad risk analysis. But it talks about some of the points that are important for all of them. Then, because we really talk a lot about risk analysis, for many people will be targeted at staying in business or making money. Now, in our class, we've gone quite a bit broader than that, which I think is fantastic, but we still need to bring in these elements where you're not going to have to write about money, but you need to think about this. So if you get into a situation where you have a chance to invest in something or something comes up financially, I hope that you'll go back to this when you're in real life. I hope you go back to what we're talking about, sort of these ideas of structuring an analysis process. And that's really, once again, what the methods section is all about. So once again, we're just talking a little bit about financial stuff, and then the top 10 mistakes in financial risk management, which is really terrific. Now, for week 5, one of your classmates has already posted. That's way ahead of the curve, so don't think, oh my gosh, I didn't post yet, because I was not expecting that. It was a pleasant surprise, but I was not expecting it. But I have 2 discussion forums posted. One of them is just to comment and summarize the 3 sources that you're going to write about for your annotated bibliography, which, remember, your reference list will have 5, but I want 3 of them with those annotated paragraphs or 2 with them to describe them, and then comment on your classmates' post. And then right here in this discussion board, I would like you to just pose your final research question. Now, after reading through the discussion board this week, I believe everyone is right there. So it's not like you have to change anything up. Just go back and just finalize it so that we know exactly what we're going to work from. Okay, and then you can start targeting the methods that you use to your research questions. So 2 discussion boards, and then the writing assignment from last week, but no writing assignment this week. I think I have referenced this before, but I put a template for an APA 7 paper on your Moodle page so that you'll sort of know the form that your writing should take. And if you have any questions about that, let me know. APA 7 is a little bit better. It's a little improved over APA 6, but there's not that many big differences. But so if you've written an APA 6, you'll be good, but it's a little different than MLA or any of the other IEEE, which is one I like to write in, but it's a good source. All right, so that's it for this week. Now, next week, this is still hidden from you guys because I have to do a couple of lectures for you. The first thing I wanted to let you know or remind you, I don't really know if I've talked about this, but I'm not going to be here on Monday, so we're not going to have a Zoom lecture. I'm just going to have pre-recorded stuff, but I will have it up here on this page sometime during this week, and I'll show it to the class at that time. But the reason is I'm going to a development seminar and I'm going to be flying back on Monday. So I had originally thought that I would try to do a Zoom from wherever I was, but I'm just not sure how everything's going to work. And so I thought I'm just going to let you guys just have the evenings to yourself so that you don't have to wonder if I'm going to show up or not. So I'm not going to show up, and you guys will be great, but I'll have 2 recorded lectures here. And I'm going to do 2 different things. One is I'm going to talk about a quantitative risk analysis based on some oil field stuff. So these papers will be incorporated into a lecture. And then I'm going to do one I'm going to talk about a methods section. I did a qualitative methods section for a different class at one point in my academic pathway. So I'll put that up for you and talk about some of the elements. And I think you'll be really pleasantly surprised at how simple the process is. It was really hard for me when I started writing this way to keep my results out of my methods. I just really wanted to talk about what I did and how it worked out. So you're not going to have to do that. You're just going to say, this is how I'm going to look at it. I found these articles and there was this method and there were 8 steps. And instead of using 8 steps, I'm just going to look at 2. I'm just going to look at my risk by these two things, or something like that. And then you'll describe the 2 things. So that's how that will be. And then the following Sunday, the 26th, you'll submit that method section, which you'll see the one that I have that I'm going to talk about is only a couple of pages, double-spaced pages. So it's not a huge undertaking. I mean, it might be a different way of thinking about something, and it definitely requires that you're in your topic. But as far as the writing goes, there's just not that much involved with it. So I'll talk about, and the reason I don't expect anybody to do, I've done this thing with risk petroleum reserves because it's highly quantitative. I've simplified it, so when we talk about it, it's not that crazy, but please don't think for one moment that you have to do math. You may do math in this report, but if you don't have to have any math whatsoever. This part is mathy, but that's why I did the other one where there's no math at all, because I want you to see 2 different examples. And whichever you do is great. And then you know what? We are just getting ready. After you do the methods section, we'll talk about your findings. I don't really know if it would be called a results. I'm thinking about, I don't know if it would be analysis, finding the results, something like that. And then that's the guts of your paper. You've got everything done. And then all you'll do is write a conclusion. And then when you're done with everything, write an abstract and pull it together in the last week. So I think everything should roll out pretty nicely. So, and like I said, except for Thursday of this week through Monday of next week, I'm totally available. So, and if you send me an email during those times, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But I'm not, there's all kinds of opportunities for us to visit about this. So what questions do you guys have for me, or comments? Anything I can clear up or help you with in any way?
I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
On our annotated bibliography, that then transfers to our reference section. Can our reference section have more references than what? Okay, so we're not stuck to what we write in that. Okay.
No, just make sure, I mean, what you write for your, and you may even, I'm not dismissing the possibility that you might, when you write your annotated bibliography with those 3 sources, it's possible that maybe one of them isn't really super. I'm sure you could find a way to reference it, but it may not be like one of the most important pieces of your document, you know. But yeah, I just want you to learn the form, you know, and if you write a whole paper with 5 references, that's fine. And if you just find that there is so much stuff and you want to do, I make it 18, that's great too. So yeah, but I just want those 3 paragraphs just to kind of get that form, you know, that way of, it's really what it is. And Karen, I think that's such a good question. And when you say, when you guys ask me questions, sometimes it just kind of like lights up different parts of my brain. And then I start talking about it because it's so very interesting and so important. But one of the things that writing those paragraphs will do is just help you to focus on what the meaning of that article or that source is. You know, I mean, like the overall meaning of that. And then so when it'll also help you not directly, but when you write your abstract, that's really what you're doing about your whole paper, where you're just getting the 150-ish words that describes your whole paper. And when you do that, you're going to be doing that kind of work that you do with the annotated bibliography is really going to be helpful. So,
okay.
Yes, good question. Anyone else? Right. Well, I see all those little microphones are still muted. So I really appreciate all of your work, and I appreciate getting to work with you, and I'm learning a lot by listening to what you guys are talking about. It's really an amazing slice of life that we all have. So we can all bring that to each other and understand the world a little bit better for that. So I really appreciate that. So I will go ahead and quit recording. And then, like I said, I will post stuff for next week and make next week visible earlier, but it's just because I'm gone. So you don't have to start it. You can start it if you want to, like, but you're not obligated to in any way. And like I said, get a hold of me. I'll be here tomorrow and Wednesday all day, and then I'll be back on Tuesday, and I'm available all the time. But if you need me in between, send me an email and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. All right. All right, you guys have a wonderful night. I'm going to quit recording. And